to invite to the stage tonight's valedictorian. Dr. Kristopher Woofter defended his doctoral dissertation entitled Shoot the Dead, Horror Cinema, Documentary and Gothic Realism under the supervision of Drs. Rosanna Malle and Mark Steinberg in the Department of Film and Image Studies in the Mel Hoppenheim School of Cinema. Dr. Woofter's work brings together two apparently opposite traditions within literary and film aesthetics, the Gothic and realist styles, along with an analysis of a convincing and interesting corpus. Dr. Woofter is currently teaching here in Montreal at Dawson College in the English department. Dr. Kristopher Woofter, the valedictorian.
President and Vice Chancellor Shepard, Vice Chairwoman Martin, Dr. Leong, distinguished guests and participants, fellow students, families, and friends, I'm pleased to address you today on behalf of the graduating students. Bienvenue à tous et félicitations pour votre succès. I'm honored to represent the graduating classes in the faculties of Fine Arts and Engineering and Computer Science. I'm particularly honored to be addressing you at a time when the routine act of scrolling through one's newsfeed, Twitter account, or Facebook homepage feels like an act of extreme masochism, akin to pulling back a curtain behind which you can hear the clear ringing sounds of a chainsaw. Welcome to the New World Order, where your daily dose of global despair includes Brexit, a simmering North Korea, the recent elections of white supremacists in the United States and Austria, and Quebec's own very recent racist, xenophobic Bill 62. We live in a world where it is easy for people to be afraid of each other, and that fear strips people of their voices, their power to choose, and their hope. My area of research is horror, can you tell? Which means that since becoming a doctor, I've only prescribed things like read Shirley Jackson or light some candles, watch Friday the 13th Part 2, and call me in the morning. More specifically, my research is focused on the intersections between horror and documentary cinema. This relationship is in part what compels me to speak to you today about fear, because among the many things that horror shows us is our desire to confront the things that disturb us about our moment. American author Ambrose Bierce defined fear as, quote, a sense of the total depravity of the immediate future, unquote. That's kind of a harsh topic to take on for a convocation speech. To graduate is to step across the threshold into one's future, to embrace one's potential. Yet to be anxious about our own freedom of choice is both human and a sign of responsibility. Today we're here to celebrate, but to do so honestly, we must confront our concerns, individual and collective, about the future and our role and place in it. What do I fear? I fear sometimes that I spend more money than I earn. I fear getting older, becoming irrelevant. I fear losing more hair. This is Narcissism 101. More importantly, I fear apathy, turning a blind eye to a system that requires that someone suffer for someone else to succeed. I fear the degree to which a powerful man is seen to be some part of some cosmic order, yet a powerful woman is seen to be a threat to that order. I fear the increasing number of my cégep students aged 16, 17, 18, who come to me expressing extreme anxiety and despair about their lives and futures. I fear the reluctance of my male students to show that they're moved by something, because to do so is to admit sensitivity and empathy in a world that tells them that these are weaknesses. And I fear that this speech is making you afraid. Forgive me. Acknowledging my personal fears here feels healthy, productive. It is the less productive fear that we have to look out for, the kind of fear that turns people into second-class citizens because of the way they wear their hair or the way they dress. This is the kind of fear that has reduced Indigenous peoples in the popular imaginary to honored ghosts in the haunted house of nation, and those fleeing torture and oppression to a status not less cruel than that of herded animals. It is the kind of fear that makes traitors of prominent sports figures who choose to kneel in respectful protest of their nation's internalized, systematized racism. Here is a fear that even tyrants feel, because it is evidence of dissent, of the power of solidarity, community, and collectivity to start a revolution. As new graduates, we all have a grave challenge and an immense responsibility to be active in fighting the kind of fear that strips people of power. And you don't have to be a Marvel superhero or John Oliver or Stephen Colbert to do this. You have only to build community. As members of communities, locally, virtually, globally, we are actors. And by that I don't mean performers, though we are all that too. I mean that we have, all of us, the potential to be active. The way that we act and interact with each other is perhaps one of the greatest gestures we can make towards a future not of dread, but of hope. I want to thank my parents, Johnny and Tim Woofter, for traveling so far to be here because they always support me. They have made it abundantly clear to me that giving generously of yourself is really the truest route to living a fulfilling life. I became an educator because I wanted to share my knowledge, experience, and above all, my enthusiasm for the work of artists who engage with the present in a way that makes us really feel something about the world. Teaching, writing, researching, these are some of the things I can do to generate community. I'm excited to be a part of the future that all of you are helping to create. And do remember that hope comes in small doses. Look behind you when you go through a door. Someone there might appreciate your taking the extra second to hold it for them. Stand beside someone, friend or stranger, whom you feel is being harassed. Take the time to talk to the person behind the counter who served you. Call your grandparents. Respect our elders. Acknowledge that some of us in this room today have had greater obstacles in their journeys through this institution. Learn from their resilience. As much as you can, be a source of support for people and take a break from your hectic routine to remember that there are others who support you. I wish you all the very best of luck in a future that truly isn't without hope if we work as a collective. Our responsibility is quite literally our ability to respond. And one more thing. If you have some time, light some candles, watch Stanley Kubrick's The Shining. No need to call me in the morning. Thank you so much. Merci beaucoup.
Your valedictorian, Dr. Kristopher Woofter, and what lucky students your students are at Dawson.